Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect, Bashem Rakha Chodash. My name is Yakaba from Plain Tables Camp, and we've been saying it that the implant is the mark of the beast. The implant chip is the mark of the beast spoken about in the book of Revelation 13:15 on down. All right, if you don't receive this mark, you'll be cut out of the financial system. You won't be able to work pretty much. And this bill that was not passed in Wyoming proves it. All right. If I'm reading everything correct, the bill did not pass. All right. Now, let me read. I'll show you what the bill is. All right. Let's look up Ezekiel first, and then we'll get into the article. You already know about Revelation 13:15 on down. The charagma is the implantable microchip. So Esau's telling you, because the bill didn't pass, the bill prohibits employers to require microchip implants. So if that bill had passed, no company could say you have to get an implant to work at the job. All right. Then this article and bill was in January through March. That's the information I have of 2023. Ezekiel 33:30. Also, thou son of man, thy people are still talking against thee by the walls and in the doors of the houses, and speak one to another, every one to his brother, saying, come, I pray you, hear what is the word that cometh forth from the Lord. So basically, they're mocking us, because we've been saying about the implant chip and a totalitarian system, concentration camps, black helicopters, surveillance system, and all that. And they don't believe us. They just think that we're just trying to scare you, or we're part of some nefarious cult. We're telling you the things that are going to come to pass because we're prophets of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, who the world ignorantly calls God and Christ Jesus. Ezekiel 33:31, and they come unto thee as a people come forth, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them, for with their mouth they shew much love. Yeah, that's the certain people. Other Israelites don't even give a fuck totally. But their heart goeth after their covetousness. And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that hath a pleasant voice and can play well on an instrument, for they hear their words, but they do them not. And some of them even reject the words completely. All right. And you got like IUIC, IHUPK, different groups, the Watchmen for Israel. They totally reject the implant chip being the mark of the beast in the book of Revelation. It's everything else, but it's something in your mind. It's something figurative. It's believing in something. No, it's something physical. And lo, when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet had been among them. Yeah, Ezekiel's prophecies, and whatever prophecy the prophet proclaimed in public. All right. And the Lord said, whatever he tell you in secret, declare thou in the housetops. So John, it was revealed to John that there will be a mark that was going to be issued by the world's governments. And that's Esau, Edom, and the other nations that are under him, that are in league with him, are going to cause everyone to receive a mark. And if you don't take the mark, you're going to be put to death. So, looking up microchips, because my previous video I did, let me see, did this video here. And Israelis who were forced to microchip by government. Apparently it got through the algorithm somehow as well. So the Lord. And it goes into describing how Israeli intelligence put chips in a few people. All right. And they were saying that if you go out and tell people that you were forced to get a chip, I'm sure it's not the whole story, that people would think you're crazy anyway, and that would get you closer to being 302, institutionalized into a mental institution. All right. So this is the Wyoming legislature. Here's the key right here, SF0072. All right. It took place between January and I think March. And I went through to basically clicked on the different links and I found the actual bill, and I'm going to do my best to get through the bill. All right. It says the Senate is a 2023 bill in the Wyoming legislature that would prohibit employers from requiring employees, including contractors, you'll see that, to have microchips implanted in their bodies. The bill relates to labor and employment. Full text of the bill can be found there. Then it's another link you got to click on. So it failed. That's the point. It failed. So let's click on here. This is a cowboystatedaily.com. That is reporting on it. It says the Wyoming State House defeated a bill on Wednesday morning that would have prohibited employers from requiring their staff to implant microchips in their bodies. All right, this is March 1st, 2023. Senate File 72 was defeated. 32 were against the bill, and 28 were with the bill, and 1 sat out on the third reading. So 32 were against the bill, if I'm reading this correct. The bill prohibits employers from requiring their staff to implant microchips in their bodies. All right. So you pretty much get it. All right, you can just type forced microchip employer SF0072. All right, and you'll find it. This is not hidden. Well, Esau hides it, but you got to look for it. All right, SF0072 Wyoming forced microchip bill. All right, let's go to the second one. So that link from, let's put this over here, right here, goes to here. Let me make sure it's right. No. State legislature. No. This website here. Okay, this one. Bill's Governor Mark. All right, so I clicked on that one. All right. So I clicked on that, and I got to here. So I'll put SF0072, Control F to get that. Bend it out. And financial counsel and reporting budget. Showing you how I got through it. A reviser's bill. So we're going to go home. And we're going to click here, Wyoming State Legislator. And we got to here, Wyoming's wyoleg.gov, legislation 2023. Did the same thing, Control F, SF0072. Bam. Employees, hope you can see that. You probably watch on your phone. Magnify that. Got no excuses. So we're not making this stuff up. When it says forced, it means you get fired. They don't have to keep you there. All right? Including contractors. So I thought I broke out of the matrix, and some of y'all brothers thought y'all did too. Nope. I'm going to read it. Includes contractors. All right. Employees forced in microchip implantation. Being implanted. Prohibited. Employees forced microchip implantation prohibited. So we basically, the people are saying, we want to pass this bill. We're prohibiting forced employee microchips. All right, that's what the bill is for. It's the prohibition of forced microchip implantation. All right, so I clicked that SF0072. I'll just click on it again so you can see I clicked it. All right, let's bring that down a little bit. We can see that. All right, thought we were just making it up, right? Now, this doesn't mean other states didn't ban it. This is setting a precedent that this is very possible. Okay, and then they can overturn the shit anyway. You know, for the states that did pass such laws that says forced microchip implementation prohibited, yes, we agree with that. Then he passed it into law. They can overturn it. All right. So we believe that this is a sign. So let's look at some of the bill. So let's try to get through the whole thing. Senate file number SF0072. Employees Forced Microchip Implantation Prohibited. Sponsored by Senator Larson D. Beitman. All right, you can see that. An act relating to the labor and employment prohibiting employers from requiring employees to have microchips implanted in their employees' bodies, specifying requirements for employers for employees, voluntary microchip implants, providing definitions and providing for the effective date. All right, so employees forced microchip implantation prohibited. Status failed. 3/1/2023. So that's the actual number. I read a different number on the article, but according to the government website, we got 28,32,2,000. So I'm safe to say that 32 were against it, and 32 were against it, and 28 were for the bill. All right, to prohibit forced microchips. So 32 agreed to not have the bill go through. And it started, bill number assigned January 4th. So they got busy at the beginning of the year. All right, received. Yep. So there it is. And let's continue reading some more. As used in this section, employee means the person permitted to work for the employer in employment and includes an independent contractor. All right, so they real demons, because you don't work for the person, you contract with them. Okay, you have your LLC, you have your business bank account, you have a checking account, business credit cards, a limited liability company or a corporation. You don't work for this person. All right. So it basically said, we want to prohibit forced microchips if you're a direct employee or an indirect employee. All right. But they said, nope. The bill failed. Employer means any person, organization, including the state and all its political subdivisions. Ooh, all right. All city, township workers, which has in its employ one or more persons performing services for it in employment. Microchip means technology that is designed to be implanted in the body of a person. So this is we the people. I'll just use that term, making it clear, defining employee and defining the microchips. Total prohibition of forced implantation in employees. All right. Contains a unique identification number, permanent identification marker, or personal information that can be non-invasively retrieved or transmitted with an external scanning device. All right. The near field, the scanner, the RFID scanner. No employer shall. So remember, this is we the people, or are against. This bill was put together to be against the forced implementation. All right. B, no employer shall ask on an application for employment or inquire during an interview whether a prospective employee will consent to having a microchip implanted in their body. 2, require an employee, that's us, whether you're an independent contractor or not. This bill is put together to make sure that no employer in Wyoming could do these things regarding microchips. But the bill failed. So now it's open. They can. All right. Requiring an employee to have or consent to having a microchip implanted in their employee's body as a condition of employment. A C-19? That was a condition of employment. So it sets a precedent. Now, again, other states may have already passed laws says, well, it is prohibited. You can't force. But it only takes a crisis to happen and say, well, in other states. We said it was prohibited, but now we think it's necessary. So they'll abolish that law. All right. Coerce an employee. So remember, this bill is against all these things. All right. And the bill failed. Coerce an employee into consenting to have a microchip implanted in his body. Oh, well, we got benefits, giving out donuts or whatever, or higher pay or credits. Remember, this is for security. It's based around security. All right. And, well, it's open-ended. The center is going to be financial system to get goods and services. All right. But right now, it's the more employers are in America, or it's more like a secured access, things of that nature. Access secure locations. Take an adverse employment action against an employee who does not consent to having microchips implanted in their body. Revelation 13:15. Your head chopped off. All right. Adverse employment action against. Firing, getting written up. Your employment on pause until we get the schedule together. Shit like that. 5. Without advancement from an employee, withhold advancement from an employee. I was just saying that. From an employee within the employer's business when the employee does not consent to having microchips implanted in their body. So look, you got certain people that tried to make sure that it was illegal for the government to do this, to make employers have liberty to do this to their employees. So somebody proposed a bill. Well, it says it up top. Withhold a salary or wage increase. I think you get the picture, from an employee who does not consent to having a microchip implanted. I'm glad they keep saying microchip implanted. So it's not obscure or you got to kind of figure out what they're talking about. The bill clearly says, quote, we the people want this prohibited for employers to do this to us. This is in the state of Wyoming. All right. An employer shall provide work alternatives to an employee who does not consent to having a microchip implanted in his body. A microchip may be implanted in an employee's body for purposes of the employee's employment, provided that, here we go. A microchip may be implanted in the employee's body for purposes that, provided the employee provides the employer with written consent for the implementation. Also, it's saying if one is voluntary, then you should let them do it. An employee may have the microchip removed at any time. So even if you do volunteer, you want to be able to make so you won't lose your job if you remove it. 3. If the employee requests the employer to remove the microchip, the employer shall remove or cause to have removed the microchip not later than 30 days after the employee's request. After an employee voluntarily consents to implementation of the microchip after the employer's request, the employer shall pay all costs associated with implanting, maintaining, and removing the microchip. So that may be another reason why it failed. So when they implement the chip, they want your ass to pay for it and not be at the employer's cost. The employer shall. These demons of this evil. They want you to pay for it too? Well, we'll see. We still got more to come. Pay all medical costs that the employee incurs as a result of any bodily injury. Oh, you know they're not going to do that. Oh, this bill definitely failed. All right, if your ass gets sick or get a sore, in Revelation 16, I think. Revelation 16, noisome and grievous sore. You already know what it is. I don't got to put it up on the screen. What it look like. Let's see. Noisome sore. Yeah. You fucking up. Come on. Is that Revelation 16? Yep, Revelation 16 and 2. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image. All right, well, it says it there, Revelation 16:2. And yeah, Esau ain't going for that shit. Pay all medical costs the employee incurs as a result of bodily injury. Yeah, that's a big one. Esau ain't definitely doing that shit. But he's just Satan. He start giving guarantees and all that shit just to get you to get it. All right, disclose to employee. Oh, so giving us information. The data that will be maintained on or in the microchip. How the data. This is we the people, right? We want transparency. Esau ain't for that shit. According to this bill that was didn't pass. How the data that is maintained on the microchip will be used by the employer. Remember, Esau's a devil. He can change the laws anytime he wants. All right. So Wyoming wasn't going for this bill. Within 30 days of the employee's termination or separation from employment with the employer, remove the microchip or have the microchip removed at the employer's expense. Yeah, see, that ain't going to work. Subject to subsection F. Okay. I'll get to the end. And see, the bill is straightforward and simple. This is how all bills should be. All right. An employee who is terminated or separates from the employer may elect to retain an implanted microchip after termination or separation, provided that the employee assumes responsibility. So the bill is trying to help the employers out for all costs associated with the employee now at separation or termination with the microchip. The employee is responsible for all costs if he's terminated for legitimate reasons. An employer shall not be required to comply with subsection E of this section for each employee who elects to retain an implanted microchip under this subsection. Nothing in this section shall be constructed to prohibit an employer from using alternatives, non-invasive technology for the reasonable operations of the employer. All right, this act is effective July 1st, 2023. But it's SF0072. It didn't pass. All right. No amendments. Failed. Adopted, failed. Adopted, failed. Approved, second reading. Third reading. So it failed. Third reading was the last reading. Adopted. Representative Crago. After definitions inserted specifying insert the act shall be deemed to apply to any. Okay. No, the whole bill failed. So there were some changes that were amended during the process, and they adopted the changes, but ultimately status. Third reading failed. It shows you the votes there. So 32 were against the bill on the prohibition of forced microchipping of employees. So it failed. Status. Its third reading failed. And that's what the article I think I had right here. It said it failed. Fears. It says Wyoming State House defeated a bill from We the People on Wednesday morning that would have prohibited employers from requiring their staff to implant microchips in their bodies. Let's look at that bill again. So Larson D, and it tells you right there it failed. And this is who? This is sponsor. Not exactly sure how this government thing works. where is state of Wyoming? So Senator Lauren D. Beitman, Brendan French, McKeown, all right, and representatives. Sponsored by, okay, so it's a senator sponsored it, and they took it to the House. So I believe a senator, I guess from a certain state, they would go to Congress, and those are, I believe, are the lawmakers, the legislative branch of Congress, if I'm not mistaken. So these senators introduced the bill to Congress, and it tells you they co-sponsor. So sponsor Senator Larson D. Then the co-sponsors over here. So they're supposed to be fighting for the people, and they introduce this bill. Employees forced microchip implantation prohibited. So they're saying we want to make this prohibited unless you want to, and it failed. So we know, just real quick, that eventually all roads are going to lead to charagma, which is the implant chip. All right, Wyoming, they can still force you to do it. So if they were to, anybody in Wyoming would have, any employer in Wyoming said, well, it's a condition of employment. Not that it would automatically go well, but they set a precedent by they set a distinguishing mark by not passing the bill through. And then they got the thing where, employers got to pay for certain things. So they definitely weren't going to go with that. Even if they were to amend it, it may have still failed anyway. It's mark branded upon horses. So he's telling you that it's going to be something in your flesh, not something figurative. Things carved. All right, that's how we know it's not figurative or something in your mind. So this is going to be a mark stamped on her forehead or right hand as a badge of the followers of Satan, the Antichrist. This is basically Edomites, Antichristo. So every Edomite, so-called, every Edomite is a Antichrist. All right, it's a badge of servitude, and you'll be able to buy and sell with this mark. So we know it's not something figurative. Corrects. This code go deeper into the word. So we know it's going beneath the surface. All right. So you've been warned. We've been telling you, Great Millstone Israelites. I believe we were the first. Start with our apostles and elders. We're the first to bring out this prophecy in Revelation 13:15 on down, that this was something that the world's governments were going to do. So, hope you edified. Shalom.